I'm so honored to have Gina here, Gina Fasio. She's originally from South Africa and she works as a personal transformation neurochange coach. I was very fortunate to work with her back this year in February for 3 months, one on one. And she's amazing at what does. She helps people uncover their limiting beliefs and create their dream life. So, for people who don't know you, like who are you, what do you do, and like can you give like a picture of what the dream life you've created over the 3 years, like 3 to 4 years, that the life that you've intentionally created. Yeah,
Beautiful. Ah, thanks, Sammy. It's so nice to be here with you.
yeah,
It's so nice to see you again because we haven't
yeah,
seen each other for a few months.
exactly.
Um, so my name's Gina. I'm from South Africa. I am a bit of a mixed box of chocolates.
Wow.
I have I have my history is in entrepreneurship, so I've had multiple businesses, but my passion has always been in the mind. Like, why do we think the way we think?
Yeah,
And can we use our brain and our mind as a tool to get what we want?
yeah,
And also, what are the limitations in our mind that are preventing us from not getting what we want? So
yeah,
it's not only about creating the life that we want, but it's also about uncreating the life that we're used to.
yeah,
Um, so my passion has been in how do I intentionally create the life that I want to create,
yeah,
and how do I change my frequency so that the frequency and the vibration that I receive back um, is a reflection of the frequency that I live in.
yeah,
So through having multiple businesses, and I was a professional sportswoman, I was a professional wakeboarder.
yeah,
That's really when my passion for the mind started, because I
yeah,
used to train my brain to be the best that I could.
yeah,
Um, and when I recognized that our brains are such beautiful tools, yeah, I just went down the rabbit hole of what does it mean to become the master of our mind? What does it mean to master the way we think, act, and feel?
yeah,
Um, and I've now done that for my own life and completely
yeah,
transformed my life in a way
yeah,
that I don't recognize my old life, and I don't even recognize who I was in terms of even my energy. When I
yeah,
even last night I was looking back on pictures from a few years ago. I don't know if you know, on like iPhone you get like
yeah, yeah.
a memory of 5 years ago, or
Yeah. It's so
looking
random.
through yeah, so random, but it's beautiful. And I was looking through the photos that it was sending me, and I even look different. The way my energy is different. So
Yeah,
it's a full body transformation in who I am and how I show up based on me changing the way I think, act, and feel.
yeah,
And now I am location independent. I work from anywhere in the world, and I travel a lot. So at the
yeah.
moment, I'm based in Bali. But end of next month, I'll be in Mexico for a
Wow.
month, and then I'll be in America, and then I'll be back in South Africa, and then I come back to
Wow.
Bali. And so having the flexibility to be wherever I want
Yeah,
is not something I'm not lucky. It's something that I've intentionally created, and it's something that everyone can create through releasing the beliefs that say you can't have it.
exactly. I'm so glad to be in your frequency because that's also what I want to create. And
Beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah, and you've got to start somewhere. I mean, I once was you where I didn't have that.
yeah,
A lot of times I think online we think that it's for special people, and I thought that as well, but it's not special people. It's the people who do the work. It's the people
exactly.
who are committed to creating a vibrational change, irrespective of what your family and your friends say.
Yeah,
How big is your vision, and how much are you going to hold on to the vision and ignore what other people think is true?
exactly. Yeah, I think, yeah, the two videos that really like resonated for me. One was about opening your heart. I think that was one thing I was missing, like feeling into those emotions. And the other one was where you talk about your whole journey. I think that's one thing that's not talked about enough in this space of the shedding of the old reality and the old self, where you talked about how you first started doing the work. Your businesses crumbled, your relationships crumbled.
Mm,
So can you talk to that? Or like what happens
yeah.
once you start doing that and like shedding of your old self? Yeah,
Absolutely. And it's such a beautiful question, because so many people are so focused on the outcome of what they want. So they
exactly.
only want the goodness of that new life.
Yeah,
But, Dr. Joe says this so beautifully, your new life is going to cost you your old life.
Exactly.
So we have to let go of the old life. And in the letting go of the old life, there's going to be death
Yeah.
sometimes. And it's the death of ourselves. It's the death of what we know. It's the death of the attachments to, what no longer serves us, and the frequency that we're in no longer serves us. And so we have to really allow ourselves to develop compassion for that space in the journey. Like I always say, when you pull out a flower out of the ground because you want to plant something new, when you pull out the flower and you plant the seed,
Yeah.
there's a space when you're watering that seed that you don't see the plant grow.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
not growing.
Yeah.
So there's a space between the death of the old self and the birth of the new self where you don't see much. But
Yeah.
after watering it for enough, eventually a shoot will come out. And that shoot can only come out when it's ready. But it's the space between that people aren't familiar with. And that space between is where it feels like nothing is happening.
Exactly.
But that's where we have to keep going. That's where we have to believe in this possibility. But
Yeah.
that also means we have to pull out our old life. And so in my case, I was so attached to what I had built and what I had created that I
Yeah.
was holding so tightly to my identity.
Yeah.
And in the creating of the new life, you have to let go of your identity. You
Exactly.
can't keep that identity because the identity I'm in now is different to where I was before.
Yeah.
Um, so it's the understanding that when you raise your frequency, whatever is not a frequency match anymore has to fall away. And
Exactly.
in my case, it was businesses and friends and life experiences. And instead of judging that things are going wrong, we have to recognize that, oh, I've just shifted. And
Yeah.
now I've planted a new seed, and the new seed is here, which means I have to give it time to grow. You're
Yeah.
not going to see the flower straight away. You're not going to see the plant straight away. So we have to give that seed time to grow. And it's in that space that it becomes difficult. But that's where we have to be so committed to our vision. We have to be so committed to the life that we want to create
And
and not wait for the 3D world to
yeah.
validate whether we're going to get it or not. We have to
Yeah.
believe in it, whether it's visible in the 3D or not.
Yeah. To continue to water it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's um one of the ladies that I love, and I would say I mean, I don't work with her personally, but I've bought a lot of her courses, Amanda Francis.
Yeah.
And she says faith is true faith is when it looks like it's not going to happen and you believe it anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
creating that life is based on you just believing and believing and believing, even when people are like, you're crazy or it's not working.
Yeah.
You just keep believing.
You keep
Yeah.
watering the seed. I love your
Keep
analogies.
putting
Like,
the seed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you talked about the family and friendships and people not believing. Can you talk to this thing? Because I think a lot of people struggle with the people around them, family and friendships, not being able to see the vision that they're able to see and then bringing up the doubts and the fears. So, what can one do about that? Yeah.
We're so conditioned to feel like we're part of a tribe, we're part of a family, we're part of a group of a group of friends.
Yeah.
That's one of the very natures of being human. We want to feel like we belong.
Yeah.
And so belonging means we have the same values and we think the same as our friends and our family, and we do the same things, and that's what makes people want to be together when they view the world in the same way.
Yeah.
But when you start to do the work and you start to shift the way you view the world, it's again that death. It's the death of connecting with people that you've always connected with before, and raising your frequency to allow for yourself to be connected to people that you have never been connected to before. But
Yeah.
that takes time for you to find that new tribe. That takes time for you to attract those people into your life.
Yeah.
So what I've recognized in my journey, and I mean, family is incredibly important to me.
Yeah.
So I discarded my family,
Yeah.
but I just have less expectation of them to be like me. There's
Yeah.
more acceptance of them being who they are,
Yeah.
and knowing we can our journeys can go together even if I'm not on the same path as them.
Wow. That's beautiful. Yeah.
So it's not the discarding. I mean, some friendships will be discarded because
Yeah, they're just not a match.
maybe discarded is not the right word, but they'll fall away because there's not a match.
Yeah,
But in my journey with my family, especially because I'm so different to my family, it hasn't been about now I can't be with my family. It's about I can find acceptance that they're not on the same journey as me,
yeah,
and that's okay. And I
yeah,
don't have to expect them to believe and to think like I am. I don't expect them to come live with me in Bali,
yeah, yeah,
but I can still, connect with them and understand where they are and not judge where they are. And I
yeah,
think that's the true power of doing the work is when we stop judging other people for where they are and actually just put more of our attention on where we're going. You know,
exactly,
like unconditional love is not expecting someone to be different.
exactly. Yeah, awesome.
So if we're expecting our family and our friends to be different because we're different, we've still got more work to do. Because the
Exactly.
work comes in and saying, well, I can enjoy you for who you are, and I don't have to expect you to be exactly like the same as me. And that's also okay. That's what
Yeah,
creates variety. And that also might create space. Maybe you used to spend 3 days like 3 days of the week with your family. Now you only spend one because your interests change.
yeah,
But there doesn't need to be a judgment on it. It can just be, I'm different, and that's okay. But then
yeah,
creating space, so allowing the space when you increase your frequency to attract people that do resonate.
yeah. That's beautiful. Like you're creating
Yeah.
space and yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think many people get stuck in this work is like thinking about whether I'm doing it right or wrong and getting into that analysis paralysis and not doing anything. So I think you talk about there's no right or wrong in this, there's no rule book. And also how you make your own rules. For example, in business, you've made this rule of how one video a week is enough for YouTube, whereas an industry normal is to post on Instagram and show your life and all of that. So can you talk to that as well, like creating your own rules in business and life, or any other examples where you've created your own rules and how it's playing out? Yeah,
Yeah. So at the end of the day, the universe doesn't know right and wrong, good and bad. The universe knows frequency.
yeah,
We as humans label things as good or bad.
yeah,
So if we talk in terms of money, someone who is in poverty, if they earn $100 a month, it might be good. But
yeah,
someone who's a millionaire, if they earn $100 a month, it's bad. So
yeah,
what is good or bad? So it's relative to the person who's looking. It's very much subjective. It's the perception that we have of something. So we always have to become aware of from what point am I looking at something, and at what point am I judging something, and what is my frame of reference.
yeah,
Um, and then when we look at the way the universe functions, the universe doesn't function on anything other than frequency.
yeah,
And so every situation that we experience has a frequency, it has a vibration. And we attract certain vibrations into our life based on the vibration that we are. So we don't attract what we want, we attract what we are.
yeah,
And so instead of holding on to how it should look,
yeah.
I hold on more to how it should feel.
Mm-hmm.
So posting one video a week has been my rule, but it's the rule that I believe to be true. So for as long as I believe it to be true, then it's enough.
Yeah,
I can't post one video a week and doubt it,
yeah,
because then the universe feels the vibration of doubt, which means it's not going to be enough.
yeah,
But if I post one video a week and I'm certain, then what the universe feels is the certainty. So it's not actually about the one video a week. It's about what is my vibrational state in
yeah,
relation to what I'm doing.
yeah,
So our only job is to become a high frequency vibrational state, because that is what the universe is responding to. The universe doesn't know likes and shares and followers. The
yeah,
universe just knows emotion. And so what is your emotional state relative to your likes, to your shares, to your followers, to your views?
yeah,
And that's where our work is how do we not judge ourselves? How do we not compare? How do we not, because that's the frequency the universe is picking up. The universe is not picking up the actual detail of it. The universe
yeah,
doesn't even know what social media is.
yeah,
That's a made concept. The
yeah,
universe only knows vibration.
Yeah. The emotions mainly.
Yeah.
Emotions.
The emotion that we feel in constantly, which is the vibration that we hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lastly to anyone who's like doing the work and they're doing the meditations, they're working on their beliefs, but still like maybe the reality hasn't caught up and there's frustration and feeling of stupidity about nothing is changing or things are getting worse. Like what would you say to them? Yeah.
The first question I would ask is, where are you still behaving like the old person?
Yeah.
So we want the outside to change, but we're not changing on the inside.
Yeah.
So if nothing is changing on the outside and you're doing the meditations doesn't mean you've become a different person. So are you still judging people? Are you still criticizing yourself? Are you still feeling sadness every day? Are you still doubting? What is your default emotional state?
Yeah.
And if that hasn't changed, then your outside's not going to change.
Yeah.
Only when your default emotional state starts to increase in vibration
Yeah.
will your outside change. So, for instance, in my one video, I spoke about how my diagnosis had come back.
Yeah.
And then I had to reflect on, who am I still being?
Yeah. And
Who
there
am
was
I still
fear.
being? Yeah, and there was fear, and there was certain emotional qualities that I didn't even realize I was living in.
Okay.
So everything that is happening in our life, whether we're getting what we want or we're not, is
Yeah.
an opportunity for us to look at, what is the vibrational state that I'm living in, and is it what I want to live in? Is this how I want to show up? You
Yeah.
know? And this is where people go wrong, is they do the meditations and they think that's enough.
Yeah.
And it's not enough.
Yeah.
Like, just doing the 1 hour meditation isn't enough. You have to practice that emotion the rest of the day. And that's why one of my focuses is on embodiment. How do we embody the energy for the other 23 hours a day instead of the 1 hour where you meditate? Because the
Yeah.
meditation is not enough.
Yeah.
We
Exactly.
have to actually be intentional about how we want to show up every day. So
Yeah.
if nothing is changing, don't feel despondent, and don't feel like it doesn't work for you, but instead ask yourself, if nothing's changing there, where am I not changing?
Wow. Bring the power back to yourself and
Yes.
responsibility.
Yeah. Where am I not changing? If my outside world is not changing, I have to ask myself, where's my inner world not changing?
Yeah. Awesome. Your embodiment masterclass is coming up. Excited for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule and
uh,
doing this.
Thank you,
And
Sam. It was so lovely to connect with you, and you just shining so brightly.
yeah.